It's about that time in 14's expansion cycle where I start to get very happy because interviews regarding the expansion and the final patch and everything starts appearing, and that's what's happening today. Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Now, what we do today will be different for me normally, I guess, but I haven't read it yet, and I thought I just want to read it with you guys. So we are going to go through the Famitsu interview that had recently appeared with Yoshi P. He's talking a little bit about NA FanFest, I believe, and some of the expansions and potential changes, I think. I haven't read it yet, but we shall see. This is also like Google Translate, so some of it might not make sense. We'll just try to make heads or tails of it as we go along. So, without further ado, let's get on with it. So it is an interview with Naoki Yoshida, producer and director of 14. Patch 7.5 will Shantoto in Windhurst, the third walk, also use Aeolian magic. The Northern FanFest is equivalent to a main quest part 0. I saw this somewhere on Twitter, someone like, well, I'm assuming we'll scroll down. Online RPG FF14, the latest major update, patch 4 side. It's called Trail to the Heavens, not the Road Beyond. But I think this, he mentioned something about this out on the 28th of April, so it's little less than 2 weeks away, which is exciting stuff. I can't wait. We'll be streaming that for sure. Prior to the release, the official program Producer Letter Live 91 aired, featuring patch 7.5 information content special part 1, which revealed an overview of the main content that will be added in 7.5x. Other various FF14, FF11 various information has been released, including the third installment of the Alliance raid, the Echoes of Vanadil, which is the third walk, and a limited job Beastmaster, which I am excited about. I'm intrigued to see what happens with it, what its playability is like, what the content that they're showing. I believe they're going to show some in the live letter, which I do plan to cover. I just have to do it the day later than I would normally do it. So I would normally do it on the Friday when it's there. However, I am away working at an event. So my stuff will be on Saturday evening, if you're wondering about that. I'm going to separate it into little bits. I got something I want to try to check if it's better, and then see if I prefer it, doing it that way. Anyway, I digress. In this interview, we'll discuss highlights of 7.5x series, 14 about the highlights of the 7.5 series, and he spoke with Yoshi P. He discussed the main content as well as FF14's FanFest, which the first one is a little over a week away. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I just, give me the expansion. I can't wait. And then Europe's is obviously in a few months, and then JP's is towards the end of the year. Please run on to the end. Also check out the stage broadcast. Yep, this is ready and waiting. So if you want to get in the queue and wait, there's a link. I will put the link to this article if you do want to read it yourself. I will put it in the description, just so you can read, or if you want to follow along with it. The North American FanFest is an event equivalent to Main Quest Part 0. That's the first bit. Interesting. First, could you tell us about the patch art for 7.5 and the concept behind the patch title, which is Trail of the Heaven? Yeah, Trail to the Heavens. So, like I said, it's a bit weird. Yoshida. The patch art signifies that the story is accelerating towards the next abyss. The artwork focuses on a member of the Silence who appeared in title of the previous okay, and the key which we got given at the end of the expansion, or at the start of the expansion story, or the end, you know what I mean, that plays an important role in this MSQ. We wanted to convey directly that something big is starting again. This is where the story starts to ramp up. And that's how the artwork turned out. Furthermore, for the Warrior Light's expression, we specifically requested that it be deliberately defiant to reflect the image of the protagonist returns to the front lines. Exciting. I can't wait. Should be good. As for the title, it hints at the series of events to come. The North American Fan Fest in April, the main quest part 1 in 7.5, then the EU Fan Fest in July, and then the MSQ part 2 in 7.56, which remember is in September, if I believe. It's not in July like it would normally be, kind of thing. Like they normally release it just before. Anyway, and then you've got FanFest at the end of October. Oh, it's October, not November. We named it Trail to the Heavens to indicate the starting point of the series of events. And there he is with his grin. He's got that look on his face, of which he knows. I'm also curious about the word heavens in the English title, Trail to the Heavens. I think you've noticed something important, but I can't go into any more detail. He laughs. I love when he does that because he just knows people are going to speculate, which I'm already speculating in my head, and I will continue to do so. Should be cool. I will just say that I'm wondering whether heavens should simply be translated as heaven or not. Okay. The 7.x series has featured stories with themes of life and death and views on life and death, so I imagine it might relate to that. And then Yoshida's response. Personally, I'm itching to talk about a lot of things, but I'll leave it at just that for now. That's again. From here on, if you connect all the events that will begin in April, they'll gradually start to see what's coming. It's not that difficult. You might see the future developments fairly soon. No question here. In patch 6.5 series of Area of Sorrow, I'm between that's towards the end. The story of the 6.x series was concluded in 6.5, and then the story for the next expansion, Golden Legacy. These will all be the Japanese translated like directly, not the English ones. If you don't know, you can go back and check what the patch titles were. Was depicted in 6.55. This time is the image that a new story will begin with main quest part 1, which will release in 7.5. That's right. In 6.5, we tried to tell Zero's story properly, but as a result, the hook to Golden Legacy was weak. And a major point of regret that we should have depicted. I don't know who that is. A character earlier. I can't remember who it is. So this time we started bridging the story with the introduction of characters like Calyx and Halmarut from around 7.4. Here they are, Calyx and Halmarut. And we decided to delve into a new story in part 1, which is cool. This time the schedule is that 7.5 will released on April 28th. For the announcement at North American Fan Fest, it seems like we'll be able to enjoy the main story content in light of what we announced at Fan Fest. In terms of imagery, the North American Fan Fest is like main quest part 0. So it's like the prelude of what's to come, and I'm excited about that. Because I think a nice little hint there is really cool. I think there will be an announcement that will surprise people, making them think that's all they're saying before part 1. They're saying all that before part 1's even released. I'm so hype. I can't wait. I always got a big grin on my face when I read this stuff. I'm super excited. Like the fact that we'll see, because like some of this might be like overplaying what he's gonna say, but I like to remain excited. You know what I mean? And based on those announcements, you'll be able to experience in the game how it all connects in expansion. We intentionally share information beforehand, allowing you to try and guess how things will connect, which I believe is part of the fun of playing online games in real time. So we've prepared various surprises. Oh my lord. First, pay attention to the keynote speech at the North American Fan Festival. Oh boy. I can't wait. Roll on. I'm gonna be live on that Friday. I'm gonna be watching it. I think my cousin's joining me. It's like his first time getting to experience like an expansion fully joined. Oh, it should be cool for him as well. It should be good fun. I'm excited for that. But digressing again, let's go there. By the way, World of Instance Dungeon, which is the one that's getting the meme on it right now, and the trial that were announced at the recent live letter be related to the MSQ. Yes, each episode in the content is essential to the story in order to determine what exactly the key is. I'm intrigued. I still want to know. I still want to know why Azem's symbol appeared on top. If you don't remember that, it's at the end of the 7.x series, where you do the final battle and you get given the key. Our symbol appears on top of it right then. So it should be interesting. Rather than spoilers, it's more accurate to say we want you to play without any preconceived notions, okay? Especially for those who play online games, may tend to control our expectations in a negative direction regarding things that have been announced beforehand. In short, many people believe that you'll enjoy it more if you don't have too many expectations. Not a bad thing, but I mean, you can be pleasantly surprised, but if you play up a little bit too much, you can only be disappointed. I kind of understand that. It's like you enjoy it more if you keep your expectations low. However, in this day and age, those lowered expectations are posted on social media, resulting in a conversation being dominated by topics of that nature. And even if the content that is ultimately implemented pleasantly defies those expectations, those past posts will never disappear. I get what he's saying here, because if people go in with this preconceived notion and it's all over social media that nothing's gonna happen, we're never getting anything good, everything's like that sits well with people that have never played the game. And to have that flatness over what's to come or what something could be, there is a realism about it, and obviously to each their own, but it does steer people away from either trying the game or picking it back up or something of that nature. So you've kind of got, it's kind of got to be in betweeny. Like, I tried to be, not pessimistic, I tried to be a realist myself with certain expectations. Like, there's a lot of things that I would love to see in the game or return to the game, but I know for the health of the game, it'll never happen. And I would love to see certain things. However, that's never going to happen. Just because I know that's not the direction of where the game is, but I'm not going to sit there and go, they won't do this with the story, or they won't do this because, yeah, or that content's going to suck. Because there is a chance it won't. And if it's really good, I don't want to be the reason that somebody else didn't pick up the game, essentially. So I try to remain kind of positive on that front. I mean, positivity like breeds more positivity, right? That's the way it should be. Ow, give me 1 second. Ugh. Oh yeah, literally. People who have actually, it literally just goes on to say what I've just had. People who haven't actually played the game might see these expressing disappointment. Yeah, that's right. So as I was thinking about these 4 characters, I wanted to make sure that the expectations wouldn't turn out to be negative, so I just had to keep them secret until they were released. I also considered changing the words themselves, but that would change the nuance, so I decided to keep them a secret instead. It's not a bad plan. Like, if you just release it at the right time, just so you can pop it, that's great. So if you turn over, you can imagine all sorts of things from those 4 letters. No, on the contrary, I think you can only imagine one thing. However, the actual content will be different from what you imagine, so I'm keeping it a secret. Okay. I see. So it's something to look forward to when you actually play it. By the way, what surprised me was the NO Annihilation battle. NO is like a secret boss ported in from 5. That is the trial, by the way. I can't remember his name. I've never actually played 5. I recognized him, but I might go back and play the Pixel remasters. And since it only appeared by name in the original version, I think there are many fans of the FF series who have never fought it. Me. Could you tell us why you chosen this time, and how much of the original's nuance has been retained? The game faithfully captures the nuances of the original work, and I believe that once you play it, you'll feel the dedication to recreating the original. As for why he was chosen, it wasn't done for the sake of being quirky, of just like 14 has this notorious, it's a Final Fantasy theme park. There are a lot of old, like, bosses and stuff from old FFs and stuff. Like a lot of Stormblood raids were that, and it just appears, that kind of stuff. So I mean, it has that rap. It is an FF theme park. So I'm glad that they felt, not that felt a need, because they shouldn't feel the need, but to say like it was done deliberately, it was cool. You'll understand it straightforwardly once you look at the content of the quests. Good. I'm excited for this. What are your impressions of the extreme version? I think this extreme difficulty level is quite geared towards serious battles, given the recent trends. Their battles have been awesome in the entirety of this expansion. You can't insult the battle content this expansion. It's been stellar. Rather than focusing on uniqueness, we prioritize the pro enjoyment of party battles, and I myself had a lot of fun during the adjustment process. Good. Compared to recent extreme difficulties, it might just be a little bit harder, okay? But you'll definitely feel a sense of accomplishment as you progress through the phases, and I think it turned out well. Nice. I hope you tried to conquer it. I still need to do the train. I have taken quite the break this time due to real life and just needing a little bit of time away from like raiding and stuff. But I'm ready to get back into it, and I'm very excited. Will the number of totems acquired per battle and extreme content still be 2? Yes. Also, we plan to change various concepts such as totems in 8.0 and beyond, which is why we've made it so that 2 are dropped this time as well. Many other things will also change, so there may be elements where the current system and mechanisms will be discontinued with this patch. That's big. That's big. If they're adjusting or removing totem systems, or even it could adjust the way we do tomes and totems and the way weapons are given to us and stuff. It could open a lot, and they did say this could be part of the redesigning of FF14 that was mentioned a little bit ago. It was a couple of patches ago or a couple of interviews ago. I remember reading and it was all over social media about like the recreation of 14. This is essentially kind of that. I'm very excited to see where they go. Hopefully we get an idea in the keynote about what these systems are, because that would be that'd be awesome. I know a lot of people will be excited to hear about those adjustments. I know I am. Because the evolution of the systems could be really, really big for the game. Oh, it's Echoes of Vana'diel, a selection of memorable moments from FF11 players. Let's talk about Echoes of Vana'diel, following from the previous. These have all been really fun. Like I've never played 11, but I've enjoyed doing the 11 the fights. But I'm assuming like there's a lot of like jabs and stuff, which is really cool for 11 players. FF11 is a predecessor to our online games, and the amount of memories and emotional impact that it's had on each player is different, isn't it? So impossible to express all of that in FF14. That's why in Echoes of Vana'diel, we've extracted episodes that we think remain in the hearts of many people from the content there. Of course, in that sense, since there are 3 Alliance raids in total, we've seen comments like, would it be even better to use the 3 nations? But if we did that, people would just predict what's coming next. And the sense of anticipation would diminish. For that reason, the first raid was themed around Juno, which is located beyond the 3 nations in 11. However, just now, people from another media outlet asked me, isn't there going to be a Bastok raid? It's a little disappointment that a Bastok won't be appearing, but on the other hand, has a stronger urban feel than the other 2 nations. So it might be difficult to use places like the Great Worship as a battlefield. I don't know what that means. This is a central area within the Republic. The building, which is once a fort, has been expanded. Oh, right, okay. Yoshida. That's right. However, considering those things have an emotional attachment, perhaps it would have been better to change the content name after all. I agonized over it until the very end. That being said, the game does touch upon what happened. in the Echoes of Vana'diel. Please check it out. And there's some important tree. And the screen chest, it does look super beautiful, man. It looks so good. Even for those who didn't play 11 back then, I'm sure you've seen screenshots from the landscape. So with desire to reintroduce 11 to a wider audience and express the memories, those who played 11 back then in the we recreated the star tree. Rather than choosing a country or region, we picked out things that left a strong impression on players. I mean, I love trees like this. I just think it's cool. Yeah. So it's chosen as an impressive landmark rather than a country. Another impressive screenshot was the White Gate, was doing similar intention. With the third walk, we wanted to recreate a certain extent to the core of the 11th scenario and the parts that led to the depths of the story. So it's quite in-depth. That includes not only the fields, but also the bosses that appear. That's why we included the White Gate. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. Never happening. Picking out parts that left a lasting impression on players. There will always be people in any source of, like, even when they did the Nier raids, people are like, oh, I wish they included that, I wish they included that. They've got to have the bits that are like, they stick with your mind, or like those are the bits you really remember from the game, or this moment, or just seeing something. It's the reason why Copied Factory, I think, remains in people's minds more than Puppet's Bunker. Because, like, yeah, you see the bunker and stuff like that, but everyone remembers or has seen the Engels fight. It's like right at the start of the game. So everybody knows that. And it's crazy. Like, so though that kind of stuff, that remains in your brain more than like other bits. So it's obviously they're gonna pick which bits like the most memorable. Seems that 11 players were look at that. My apologies. If anyone's going to be if White Gate's going to be released, does that mean there is a battle that recreates Besiege? Battle concept. As a beast tribe, of course, there are many players on the development team, so we put a lot of effort into creating elements similar to Besiege. But when we did a test run, something fell off. That's because Besiege in 11 is a game where you engage in large-scale battles at the unique battle speed of 11 and the strength of the individual enemy. Creates a sense of urgency. However, 14 is its own unique content tempo, and it's impossible to simply recreate the gameplay from back then. Therefore, rather than focusing on accuracy, I think the real test is how to adapt that to 14. Perfect. You can't just dump content in and expect it to work. Like, 14 is its own entity. Like, you need to, like, make it 14's. So I asked the development team to focus on adjusting accordingly. Nice. It's not about the reproduction, it's whether it's fun as content for 14. Yes. In addition, we've also focused on whether it evokes the feeling of the original FF11 and allows everyone to reminisce about it, and we plan to make further adjustments from here. In the PLL, a screenshot of the back view of Shantoto. Everyone knows her. Ho, ho, ho. Was also revealed Shantoto player has appeared in 14 before in a limited time event. But we're also curious how she was portrayed this time. There's also a battle with her. In the Black Mage job quest for FF14, the name Shantoto appears, though not as Shantoto. Shantoto is such a great art mage that the name is derived from her. And even though she's recreated in the Echoes of Vana'diel as a remnant of the Echoes from the world of 11, our interpretation is that she will probably surpass even that concept. Excuse me. Ugh, it's been a long day. And we imagine that she would be able to master the magic systems of yours in no time. We created her while imagining how much havoc she would cause if she came to the world of 14. We would be happy if you could actually experience this firsthand. He laughs. Oh lord, she's going to destroy us. Regarding other bosses at the end of the last story, there was a scene. Something much for them. Speaking of the gods of Divine Ideal, there are various gods such as the goddess Altana, the black god Odin, and the white god Alexander. Will it be fun to play to find out whether these gods will appear? Yes. That part is truly the climax, so I really hope you'll play it yourself. We received a warm response to Echoes of Vana'diel since its release, and it's generating a lot of excitement. With some mods of 11 even having character creation restrictions. To further boost that excitement, we've put a lot of effort into making it the ultimate climax. From boss selection to direction to VFX. We had to producer of 11 check it with us during the production, and he muttered, "They're going to recreate it to this extent." That's cool. As I've mentioned before, the 11 and 14 teams are working together to create it, so I hope you look forward to it. Hell yeah. They then showed us this gear. I've seen it get a little bit of grief on the old social media, but I don't think it looks that bad. Everyone will flock for this chest piece, like they did with the second one. It was the ranged one. Everyone was all over that. As a reward, equipments 11. Yeah, I believe the appeal of the equipment design lies with their simple coolness, and we've made sure to include equipments based on that. Okay. As for our attention to detail regarding the equipment, the Mithra is a race similar to Makote have tails, so the back design of their leg armor is different. And we've reproduced that as well in FF14. We've also adjusted it so that when Makotes wear it, it will look the same as the Mithras. That's cool. We like that. Earlier, Mr. Yoshida mentioned the excitement surrounding 11, and I definitely feel the impact of Echoes of Vana'diel in particular. I have my impression that a number of people streaming their 11 gameplay have increased considerably compared to before. Yes, we are very grateful for the streaming. I feel it fits well with the times. Those people who haven't been able to try it before, seeing others play and thinking, I'll give it a try too, is increasing. Which is a good thing. You want that. And I think it's a good trend. There's also events happening on the 11 side, such as the Echoes of Vana'diel release commemoration event. So we would be happy if you could enjoy both 14 and 11. Oh, it's about the old Ultimate Raid. My prediction for the next Ultimate Raid is it might be better not to be influenced by recent patterns. The details of the next Ultimate Raid weren't revealed in the last PLL, but I think many players are curious. Could you give us a hint about what the content might be based on within the limits of what you can talk about it? Okay, so please name just one thing that comes to mind when you think of it, and I'll tell you whether it's correct or not. Maybe less. A new pattern. There are countless options, but assuming we're going for a motif different from the story bosses and raids we've had so far, how about the Tale of the Four Lords? Wow, I was wrong. That was a bit nerve-wracking. By the way, the reason we're holding back on the answer isn't because the implementation is behind schedule. The release date has already been decided. We're in the final stages of adjustment. But since the Fan Fest is being held, we wanted to announce the information there. So, we are getting the information about Ultimate. And that was next. Won't be tomorrow. It will be during the keynote, I would imagine. Which will be exciting for all those live. They all get to be super excited. That's cool. I like that. Rather than just revealing the title too early, we wanted to give people see a working version at the same time as the announcement. Oh. So we can inform more people about specific details. This is cool. I don't know what it could be. You could have a Nier Ultimate. There could be a Four Lords Ultimate. What if we got a Kefka and the Warring Triad Ultimate? God, like there's so much. Then you can just go into Pandemonium. And just an Asian's Ultimate in general. You could do loads. There's so many. A Weapons Ultimate. Like, there's just so much. By the way, sorry, I got distracted. By the way, since Mr. Yoshida asked you a question in return, does that mean that the Ultimate Raid will have a motif that isn't something you'd normally think of? I wonder. When it's announced, we might think, so that's how it is. Ultimate Raids have always been quite varied, so it might not be the best to be too influenced by recent patterns when making predictions. So the details will be revealed during the FanFest. Next, I'd like to ask about, this is a cult. A new field will be added, and the knowledge level cap will be raised, but how many support jobs? There are 8 jobs in total. This will be the final number of support jobs added. The 8 jobs whose icons revealed, such as Ninja, Black Mage, White Mage, Dragoon, will be added as is. I think Necromancer will be a rather unusual support job. Nice. How will the content compare to the Southern Front? The concept of exploration-based content is that it's your own unique leveling system and allows you to do crazy things that you could only do on that island. We basically followed that in the Northern Expedition, or the Northern Front, I think it'll be, chapter, so the fundamental gameplay hasn't changed. On top of that, we believe that the fun of what you can do with support jobs is what makes it appealing. I do like the support job system, to be fair. So we've made sure that you'll find it fun no matter what support job you use in the update. Of course, we've incorporated all the improvements to gameplay and ease of use based on the feedback from the previous chapter into this new one. This looks cool. He looks neat. Guy looks like Mario. I'm guessing this is some of the gear you're going to be able to get while you're in there. That's a Bahamut. Is that like a summoner one? There are conditions for entering the Southern Front. No, there was the Northern Expedition. For example, are there any conditions such as needing to reach level 20? Completing the Crescent Isle questline in 7.25 is a prerequisite. Others unlock the introductory quest for the North. Knowledge level is not a requirement. So long as you've progressed through the quest, you're good to go. The new Fork Tower will have 2 difficulties, normal and hard. It's hard about the same difficulty as the previous one. This time, since there's a normal difficulty level, we've set the hard difficulty harder than last time. I think this is good. I think having a normal difficulty is fine, and then you can make hard harder for those that want the challenge, which I think is nice. So please try leveling up your support jobs and equipment to deal high damage. Interesting. On the other hand, for normal difficulty, since it's also a quest clear condition, you can clear it without the maximum number of players, and depending on the level of your support jobs, it's even possible to clear solo. Damn. Regardless of the number of participants, even if your various support jobs haven't reached their maximum level, you should be able to enjoy it without problems. Damn. So you see, this looks sick. This looks so cool. So the normal version is content you visit as part of the story. Yes, that's right. By the way, in both normal and hard modes, the boss's HP is adjusted according to the number of players. Normal mode has some gimmicks you've never seen before, but there are no restrictions on resurrection, so we'll hope you enjoy reviving each other as you go along. For hard mode, including the structure of the stages, you'll need at least 12 people to clear it. There are also equipment growth elements this time, so please train your support jobs and equipment before challenging it. It will give you an advantage in clearing it. Also, to avoid creating a difference in experience between normal and hard modes, the locations themselves are the same. However, there are routes and puzzles that are only available in hard mode. That's good. As for the difficulty in hard mode, just like in the previous, you'll be doing a lot of trial and error at first. By the way, after strengthening your character in North, is it possible to go back to the South and challenge the tower, the Fort Tower, as a small group? Of course that's possible. You could try training your characters in the North and then challenging Fork Tower again. If you still find it difficult to clear or having trouble gathering enough people, we may make adjustments in the future based on your feedback and the data on the number of people entering and clearing the content. Oh, Beastmaster. The Beastmaster's beast training is a feature that can be played with the feel of a completely different game. In the PLL, the details of the second limited job Beastmaster were finally revealed. I think it was created with a different gameplay style in mind from Blue Mage. What is it, but what is the core that makes it fun? The development team discussed 3 main points. How many monsters should be available to recruit? Will players be able to battle them in public fields? And should we include a monster training element? In fact, our approach to Beastmaster's class revolves around these 3 points. It's cool. The enjoyment of capturing and collecting monsters and filling up the encyclopedia is something shared with the Blue Mage's Blue Magic. However, a major element of Beastmaster's class is recruiting monsters you've previously faced, so we focused on how to collect them. Furthermore, even if you recruit monsters, people might feel unsatisfied if they can only be summoned in specific content. That's why we made it possible to summon them in public fields, allowing people to enjoy the experience of taking those monsters with them. That is a clear difference from the Blue Mage. It is. But it's nice that they thought of that. Because some people just like to show off, oh, look what I've got. There'll be so many behemoths kicking about. Just on show. Naturally, the original monster models and animations were created without the intention of having them as companions. However, if only the monsters that meet regulations could be recruited, the range of choices would be severely limited. Therefore, existing monsters are being adjusted or remade to coincide with the implementation of Beastmaster. Wow, you're even working on the monsters themselves. Kind of crazy, to be fair. This is the content I'm interested in. I want to see how it goes. In addition, there is a dedicated concept called Beast Training, which is necessary to complete the job quest story. The element of raising monsters can be said to exist in order of to clear this Beast Training. Incidentally, Beast Training can be described as a simulation RPG within 14, or it can be described as a completely independent RPG that uses 14's battle system. So in a sense, it can be enjoyed as a separate game from the original 14. If you was to give it a title, something like FF14 Monsters, that's kind of funny. It would have been great if we could include breeding as well. There are features we'll be offering in the initial implementation of Beastmaster. But if we receive feedback in the future requesting the ability to make monsters you've raised fight each other, we may expand upon this further. That'd be kind of cool. We hope to develop this aspect while listening to the voices of players. So, rather than just replicating existing content, it's becoming more like content that offers its own unique fun. Yes, I think this is the right direction for Beastmaster. How exactly will it fight? First, the Beastmaster has a level cap of 50, expected, and there are 50 monsters that can be captured. As the job level increases, the Beastmaster learns actions that just like normal jobs, but in the process, they can learn actions for 3 different flutes, and they can assign captured monsters to each flute. That's cool. So it's like 3 actions to summon. Yes. When you battle, the idea is to first fight in conjunction with the monster you summoned with the first whistle, then summon the monster with the second whistle and change the combo route. If the enemy you are facing uses an attack that can be interrupted, you can set up a beast that has the ability to interrupt. When you see it being cast, you can use the whistle to switch beasts. Could be interesting. Depends what they do with this. This content could be really, really engaging. If it's not a walkover. The whistle actions themselves also have a recast time, and you can deal more damage if you switch after the beast has used its special move. But if you don't rotate efficiently, the whistle's recast will not come up, so you'll have to manage while you fight. Cool. In addition, you can perform a Beast Heart technique link, which is a combination of yours and your beast technique if you use a technique of a specific element at the end. You can perform an even more powerful move, just like a combo, like that. And the rotation will change depending on the beast you summon. Excuse me. So I think you'll enjoy this aspect as well. Just gonna get a bit of a drink. Just hearing about this, it is clear that would be a game that can be enjoyed in a way that has never been seen before. It's a very well developed job, and I think it's fun to play even casually. I feel like it's become a cohesive unit that I'd want to use in regular raids as well. Don't trigger people. Don't say that. And then, yeah. Since the level cap is 50, I don't think it could be used in the latest content, but is it possible to challenge existing content like with Blue Mage? You can think of it as having exactly the same specifications as the Blue Mage, of course. You'll challenge various content by using the restriction removal and party recruitment functions. While the Blue Mage has an image of utilizing outrageous actions that can't be found in normal jobs, the Beastmaster will likely be more of a straightforward combat type. Rather than the goal being to wreak havoc in existing content, it seems that the main point of interest is the dedicated content beast training itself. Yes. It's not so much dedicated content as into integrated into the gameplay of itself. A beast training has stages called Stage X, and you can challenge them in order to clear job quests. And finally, you challenge the final boss's scenario. There are lots of enemies, variations of previous dungeon bosses as well. If you clear all of those, you can challenge the hard difficulty, and you clear all the hard difficulty, a mode will appear where you can increase the difficulty even further yourself. Online rankings are being prepared. This could be very interesting. I see. Sounds like they're worth playing for a long time. Some players may be satisfied with just a job quest, while others may want to delve deeper into the game, so we've prepared plenty of content for those who want to play extensively. Interesting. We've also included various other elements, such as passive items and bait that are only effective in beast training. Please note that during beast training, neither the Beastmaster nor the companions will naturally recover HP. Choosing which beasts to rest in tent within the content, consider when to use potions exclusive to the content, and even strategizing, such as let's feed them this bait, strengthen them, and force our way through. This could be fun. Will all be important. The gameplay revolves around making full use of the beasts you have, utilizing shops, tents, and passive items on the board, and clearing the game to the very end. By the way, is the Beastmaster job generally perceived as a job to be enjoyed solo? Yes. Beast training is content that can be only attempted solo, so it is basically a limited job that is meant to be enjoyed solo. However, of course, you can form a party of Beastmasters and challenge existing content, so it's not like it can only be played solo. So it seems like it has the Blue Mage stuff. You go and do your fates, and maybe you can actually go and do dungeons with it. We'll see. We'll have to see on that one, because this is kind of what this alludes to in IMA. When capturing monsters, is it possible to catch them in the party, for example, or can multiple people you capture the same monster? When capturing monsters, you can, of course, do so in a party, but the catch decision is made independently by each player. It's easiest to understand if you imagine it as being similar to the Blue Mage system. Not everybody learn it as far as well. We've prepared several monsters that can be captured within dungeons. There you go. And you can also capture them together in a party, so you can do dungeons. It's fine. Or you can take them on solo. In addition, you can also obtain the summoning of strong monsters as a reward for clearing quests and difficult solo content. We've also made it possible to capture 50 monsters that will be implemented in this update without forming a party at all. There will be some monsters that be captured faster in a party, but also made possible by those who prefer solo play. It's up to you the way you choose. That's fine. Will we hear some news about the future of FF14 at the Fan Festival? Okay. As for content for 7.51, we plan to implement the Ultimate Raid, Beastmaster, Cosmo Explorer, quest I mentioned earlier, and the final chapter of Hildebrand, which I haven't even started yet, and some unannounced gold saucer content. Blitzball? No, I messed. Oh dear. So I think you'll be able to enjoy the game for a long time. We plan to announce a specific schedule for which content will be implemented in which patch at the FanFest. That makes me more excited. Actually, there's some information about 7.5x series that we kept on the wraps since the last PLL, and we plan to announce that all at once, along with the release schedule for each piece of content. Please let it walk. I wonder what that is. Mr. Yoshi P, spill the beans. At previous FanFest, Mr. Yoshida said that he wanted people to enjoy both large-scale real-time worlds and in-game patches in parallel. Is this the same this time? Yes. It's really tough because there's so little I can talk about right now before the FanFest, but I would recommend it even strongly than before during 7.5. Finally, can you tell us about the highlights of the FanFest, including the appeal of 7.5 from North America on 24th to Europe and then to Japan? I want this year's keynote speech at the FanFest to have a slightly different atmosphere than usual. I plan to talk a little bit more about the future of 14 and delve into what is to come for 14. In particular, the keynote at the North American FanFest might have some parts that make people think they're releasing this information even though 7.5 hasn't been released yet. Wow. I'm excited. Maybe they just start giving more. That's cool. Regardless of expansion packs, we intend to unveil everything we have in mind for the future of 14. Then we'll delve deeper into those details at fan festivals in Europe and beyond. Oh, I thought the Fur Fan Fest would mainly be unveiling the new expansion pack, but it seems way more than that just this time. Yes. We plan to announce even bigger stories and systems. We intend to 100% satisfy what you usually expect from a fan festival, but please don't expect that. Much more. Because of that, the amount of information will be too much for just the keynote. It would take about 5 hours to explain everything on the spot. So we plan to give you a general overview of the direction in North America while explaining some elements. We'll delve into some extent of some common concepts, and then go into more detail in Europe and Japan. As I mentioned earlier, the North American keynote will be equivalent to part 0 of the main quest in 7.5. Patch 7.5 will be released a few days later, and then it will be part 1. The European keynote speech will be part 1.5, then patch 7.56 will be part 2. The JP FanFest will be the finale. After that, we go into the media tour, and I think it will be a hellish schedule for both development team and the media. It feels like the real life events and the game are linked. Embracing myself for the media tour. Same. Oh, cannot wait. For this event, I really hope everyone can enjoy it live. Of course, there will be some differences between NA, Europe, and JP fan festivals, but I hope that everyone who gathers at the venue or via the live stream will chat and share excitement. I'm excited. Yoshi P, give. I think the scale and the live atmosphere is something you don't experience anywhere else with 14, so I hope you don't miss. I managed to convince my cousin to come to the FanFest. I managed to convince him. He's so excited. I'm so excited for him. I want to see his face when he gets to see the trailer live, and I want to see his face when he gets to see the Primals concert live as well. It's gonna be so exciting. Even if you can't go to the venue, it's worthwhile to watch it live than ever before. It's packed with so much info. I'm excited. That's right. Furthermore, I'd like you to take a look at the whole picture this time rather than just checking out fragments of what's been announced. Yes. To that end, we plan to use actual equipment when announcing a certain mechanism. Oh. Our real device right off the bat. The keynote speech alone would be too long, so we're thinking of leaving the details to the development panel and using the actual device there. Okay. However, since they're still in development, the UI would only have a debug display on, and so it would then be much rougher than previous demonstrations of the actual device. But it's easier to visualize if there's something that works, and since it's a fan fest, we want to share as much as we can. Makes me move. I'm excited. What are you talking about? I'm so excited right now. As I've mentioned before, I believe MMORPGs are games where you play in the present while looking forward to the future. This time, I've aimed to maximize that expectation for the future, and I hope you'll enjoy playing in the present while eagerly awaiting it. By the way, while we're announcing things about the future, there might be some things that make you think, does this mean this will disappear? The original FF14 I believe... I feel... Oh, okay. Is this the same thing? Okay, this time we've raised the expectation for future to the maximum. Okay, okay. 2014, I believe MMORPGs are games where you play. This time we've raised that expectation for the future to the maximum. And I hope you'll enjoy playing in the present while eagerly awaiting it. By the way, while we're announcing this, makes you think, does this mean we're gone? In that sense, you could say it's a change or close to a rebirth. No, I think calling it a reborn is an exaggeration. A realm reborn, the previous rebirth, involves completely rebuilding everything from the client's perspective. So I don't think... so I don't want to call this a second rebirth in comparison. But there might be some similarities in nuance. Therefore, I think 7.5 series, which will be released in the context... in this context, is an update that lets you enjoy the present while looking forward to the future. We've provided a lot of content and we'll be releasing it intermittently, so I hope you'll enjoy playing, as always, while looking forward to the future. I feel like I've said about 90 times. The North American Fan Festival will also be streamed online. Yes, it will. There is a paid stream, and there is a... the Fan Festival, which will be held in Anaheim, USA on 25th, 26th. Will also be streamed on YouTube and Twitch with a variety of stage events are planned, including the keynote, which is free, where new information will be announced. The keynote address is scheduled for the 25th. That's Japan's time. It's like 6 p.m. for us, I think. The broadcast will be late night to early morning. By us, I mean the UK. I think it's like 6 p.m. We want you to enjoy both. I feel like some of this is just repeating. And that is the end of the interview. That was a long video. It was a very long video. Hopefully you guys stayed with me. I'm a big fan. There's a lot in here. There's a lot of bump and a lot of like fluffiness. But when you start picking bits out, like Beastmaster is super interesting, but the big bits is like tome adjustments or totem adjustments, like different systems, all of this kind of stuff, and all of the information and like the stuff they're talking about. I am so excited for the keynote. Far more, I was excited anyway, and then when it gets close to the expansion, I get hyped like more and more. But I am like there now. I'm very, very, very excited for the keynote. More than I've ever been, I think. Normally, you have an expectation of, oh, well, this is what we'll get this. This is probably what they'll talk about and stuff like that. But with them talking about what they are, I am extremely excited for this. Woo! But that, I will free you guys before I get to an hour. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to start doing more of these. You're going to be seeing more of me doing 14 content. I am back. I've had my break. I feel refreshed. There's a lot of stuff. There's a few things on the way. There's a few how-tos. There's a few opinion videos on their way. A few review videos I want to talk about and stuff like that. On my thoughts and stuff like that. So this is going to be a big space. And then obviously I'm going to cover the live letters and the keynotes. Yeah, watch this space. You guys will be seeing a lot more of me, and hopefully you enjoy that. I'm always looking to better my content and obviously to deliver you guys the best in the best way, but in my way too. So if there's something you do like that I do, or that you'd like to see me try or something, I'm always down for suggestions. So do drop that in the comments section. Do let me know. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and I will see you in Eorzea.